Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to episode 50. This is number 50 in the Robbos Gobcast special. Hope you guys are very well. Hope you're having a lovely Christmas Eve. We're uploading this a little bit earlier than usual. We normally upload the Reading build-up for the weekend on a Friday, but as Friday's Christmas Day, we've got a Christmas Day special. We're going to do a double upload day on Thursday, where we will upload this in the evening or the afternoon, and we will upload the NFL, in the morning, and then we will upload the NFL show at 5 o'clock. So don't forget to go check both of them out. If you haven't already, go and check all the other videos we've done this week. Been quite a good week this week. I had to do we did the TLC review Monday, Tuesday with Gulam. We did the review with Courtney on Monday. We did the Formula One show with Josh on Wednesday, and today we've got the Reading podcast and the NFL podcast coming out. Don't forget, down below in the description, they both know what's going to happen, so that's why they're both on their phone. They both know that I do talk gibberish for the next first 5 minutes. So don't forget, down below in the description is a link to all of our social media pages. Go and check that out, give us a follow, and don't forget as well, if you're watching on YouTube, go and click that subscribe button and click the bell, where that will give you instant notification when we go live. And if you're listening to on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Soundcloud, don't forget you can follow us on there as well, and you will get a notification for whenever our videos go live. So today we're going to be doing, it's the first time in a very long time on this podcast that we haven't got a game to review. We're just building up to one. I think it's been like 6 weeks since the last time Reading didn't play a midweek fixture, which is quite good for us. It also saves me to try and think as well. But today we've got a lot of things to discuss, a lot of things that have come up in the news that I would like to talk to both of these guys about.
Got the Brentford game from the weekend, last weekend, sure.
Yeah, we will have a little discussion about that. We discussed that with Courtney as well, but we will have an open discussion of that to start off with before we go into any of the news. But yeah, let's go, as Josh wants to do it, as he's fucking taken over already. He's only done this podcast once, and he's already trying to take over, little bitch. The Brentford game, what did you both make of that?
Just started really slowly, and then found ourselves 3-0 down inside half an hour, and at that point it's like, well, we're not really going to come back from here, are we? I think that's when a lot of people also turned off watching at 3-0 down.
Were you one of them?
No. I turned off after Aluko scored and went, at least I've seen us score, and now I had to go out anyway, but at least I saw us score.
Ryan, what did you make of the game?
You know what? I don't think we played awfully. There's definitely positives to take out of it. And it's just the fact that we come up against one of the most prolific teams we'll come against.
They had 4 shots on target and scored 3 of them.
Yeah, but let's be fair, one of them definitely gone in.
Should have gone in, yeah.
So we'll move on from that. And that disappointment to some of the news that's happened this week. And I want to get both of your guys' takes on some of the news. The Football League have, according to some reports today, have relaxed the financial fair play rules, including clauses permitting its clubs to exclude COVID-19 costs from the 2019 and 2020-21 seasons from their report expenditure. How much do you think this is going to help or hinder Reading? Because we all know, if you listen to this podcast for a long time, Adam Jones bangs on quite a lot about financial fair play could be a massive downfall for us this season. How much do you think that news is going to help us?
I think it allows Dion to spend more money in January than he probably would have done, because now there's a more relaxed FFP. So you could go, oh, well, I'm this much clear of the spending limit of how much you can lose or gain, or how much you can use in the wages. Let me just use it all. Because why not?
Ryan, what do you think? Do you think that this gives incentive to the Reading owners to spend in January? Or do you think this is the prime opportunity for them to gain some money in, so it helps them with the long-term future of the club?
The first one.
You think they're going to go apeshit?
I don't think they'll go apeshit.
But you think that they're going to spend a little bit more than what they were going to?
I think it'll be more like, whereas, I'll use an example. Say we made an offer for, okay, let's say we went back in for that winger where they wanted a $7.5 million option to buy at the end of it.
Yeah.
I think then they were sort of like, well, we're a bit close, so we're not going to do that. I think now we might go back in and be like, you know what?
Lay it on the table, just.
Yeah. You know what? You wanted 7.5, so here's 15. Now take it and shut up.
It's 15.
So, talking of players that could be leaving, we're going to go for players that could be leaving. Let's start with Michael Olise to start off with. It's been reports by multiple different sites and places that it's likely Olise will leave in January. There are the clubs that are interested in them are Liverpool, Leeds, Arsenal, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Man City, Chelsea, and Leicester. Leicester have apparently already made contact with Reading, but Reading have turned around to them and said, we want 30 million for Olise. Could go up to 30 million. They could pay 20 million, it rising to add-ons to 30 million. This season so far, Olise has been directly involved in 12 goals for Reading, 4 goals, 8 assists. The most for a Reading Academy graduate since Simon Cox in 2014-15, where he got 12 that season, and we're not even halfway through the season at this precise moment. It's looking more likely, and we've discussed this on the podcast on Monday. He's going to be very much a vocal talking point on this, and I think majority of podcasts now, up until I reckon the end of January, because all the reports are going to come out. People are going to say they want to buy him. Clubs are going to come in for him. If you had to pick a destination, this is a two-part question I want to ask you guys. You've got clubs like Liverpool, Leeds, Arsenal, Wolves, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Man City are all wanting to sign him. Where do you think he will end up?
Wherever that team is going to pay 30 million.
Okay, so if they all put 30 million on, this is a hypothetical question. If they all put 30 million on, who do you think Olise will choose? If you were him, who would you choose?
Leicester. Because I think he's most likely going to get more playing time playing at Leicester than he is any of the bigger clubs. Same with Leeds. I think he's more likely to go somewhere like Leeds, where he's more likely to get minutes than he's going to go to a big club and then be spat out on 54 loan deals until they think he's ready.
Okay, another question for both of you then. Will he be here by the end of January?
Not a chance.
Ryan?
Not really bothered, to be fair.
That wasn't really the question. Are you bothered?
Yeah.
Do you think he will be here by the end of January?
I think he will, to be honest.
You think the club are going to risk it and try and sell him in the summer?
Yep.
Risky
I'm going to say I hope we do the same with Richards.
Well, keep him.
I'd rather lose him on a free.
Why would you rather lose out on money when it's guaranteed money?
Because we're not going to get much money for him either way.
Yeah, but you're still going to get more money you will in January than you will at the end of the season.
What I'm saying is, bro, I'm saying if we keep Richards, more of a chance we go up.
We've got no one to replace him then. No one else can do.
Okay, a question for you then. Do you think it is a question that I wanted to ask to both of you Monday, but I didn't get the chance to do it. Do you believe the club will risk losing a player for free and losing out on money just for promotion, where there's a slim chance we will? Because let's be honest, at this precise moment, our depth is killing us at this precise moment of getting any chance of getting anywhere near the promotion.
That is the exact reason we should do it.
But why are you saying
why get rid of your best player?
Why would you not? Why would you not? This is the question I got. It's not a point
then
of
you have
he's
to
your best
buy him,
players. It's the point of
because then
you're gonna lose. You're gonna get 30 million, maybe 20, 25 million for one player, and you're not going to accept that
Not
because
for
you have
Richards.
an outside chance of going up. That's
Not
the
for
biggest
Richards, you're not
bullshit
getting
ever.
it.
If you get offered 20, 25 million for a player, you're going to accept that and then buy 5, 6 players in, which then you've then
Yeah, but
covered the debt.
we're not getting that amount of money for Richards with 6 months left.
No, I'm not talking about Richards. I'm talking about Olise. I'm talking about Olise.
We'll still get money for him at the end of the season.
Yeah, but it won't be a lot. If we're talking about Richards, we're probably going to get, it's January, left back, 6 months less. We're talking about 6, 7 million at least.
I don't think even
Maximum.
half.
I think the club panic and selling for 3, 4 with add-ons or a sell-off clause.
Yeah, exactly.
We are notoriously bad at selling players, and we're notoriously bad at negotiating for signing players. We always pay either too much to sign them or don't sell them for enough because we panic.
And that's the exact reason why with Richards I would keep him, and I'd rather keep him and lose him on a free, because we don't have depth in that position. If he does leave, we have got no one that's there able to play left back.
But then you've got the option. So then with that,
made of glass.
So with that theory as well, then would you sell Olise in January or would you sell him in the summer?
I'd sell him in the summer.
So you're risking. So all I'm saying
you're
is
not risking anything because
you are risking. You're risking. No one's going to pay what they're paid in the January transfer than they will in the summer because of a player who has 12 months left. No one will pay that. So you're going to go from a transfer that could potentially 20, 25 million in January to maybe around about 10 million in the summer because you want to keep him to the summer because of an outside chance of getting playoffs.
Yes, because you're
saying that you would risk.
You don't lose that much value. You've got a year left.
You've got a year.
But then the clubs won't pay what they paid in January because they will go, we'll wait a year and get him on a free. So you're now risking.
But at that point,
you're risking it way down.
But at that point, Reading are at the position where they can just leave him to rot in the 23s. If we get to a Loader situation, like where Loader says with a year left, you know what, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to sit here for a year and choose where to go in a year's time. We didn't see him feature overly much as soon as he said he wasn't signing a new deal. As soon as he said he wasn't signing a new deal, we barely saw any of Danny Loader. We saw him against Blackpool. That's about it. So the club it'll be us thing to do to say in a year's time, if we can't sell him because we can't get him out of money we want, we leave him to rot for a year and hope that everyone loses interest and we kind of pressure him into signing a new deal, which is what we tried to do with Loader and now look at him doing okay in Portugal.
At the end of the day, no one's bigger than the club.
Exactly.
The only thing that I'm saying is we're risking the long-term project of the club for one player. This player is not. Let's think about it. Let's think about this logic. Olise is not going to sign a long-term contract. Let's be honest. We all can sit here and say that we want him to stay, but we all know that his agent's going to be in his ear, and we all know that people are going to be around him that saying, look, let's have a look at the clubs here that are interested. You've got Liverpool, you've got Arsenal, who, for me, Arsenal will definitely need a player like him, so he'd easily get into the Arsenal team. You've got Wolves, easily get into their team. You've got Crystal Palace, easily get into their team. Man City, no, I don't think he will struggle, as well as Liverpool and Chelsea.
At least doesn't have an agent.
Chelsea's just a signing to help with homegrown players. Leicester easily get into their squad, and Leeds easily get into their squad. So for me, it's risking a player that is going to have all the agents in their ear saying, look, you may not play. You're going to wait till the summer where we could maybe get 15 million for him, where we could sell him in January, get 20, 25, 30 million for him, where we can then a long-term plan for the club. Olise is not long-term. He's a short-term gain for a long-term project. That's what we need to be thinking about. That 30 million can invest in maybe 6 players. Then that controls the depth that we've got. We don't need to rely too much on our academy to miss out on opportunities for playing for the under-23s or under-18s to be with the first team where they can continue their growth. we can bring players in that will help us now to get out of the Championship for us to have the long-term future. So for me personally, I think if we don't sell Olise in January, we're missing out on a shit ton of money, and we're going to miss out on the opportunity for us to even grow financially. But not only that, I think we're going to completely miss out on the opportunity to grow this team as well. This is another situation as well that I feel like we missed up with Danny Loader. I think Danny Loader would be excellent. I think if it wasn't for Mark Bowen, I think Danny Loader would still be here. And I think he would do an excellent job for us now. And for me, I think, look at the player we're interested in signing, and we'll go into that person in a minute. But I think it is for our fans to really think that Olise, do not sell him in January, is a point of us getting promotion, is we have no chance of getting promotion with the depth we've got at all. They're not gonna piss money up the wall. They proved that with the summer transfer window. They're not going to go out there, spend a ton of money on players that's going to get us there. We physically can't do that. So what's the best option to do? Get a player that can get you 20, 25 million, get players in that will 5 or 6 players that you can tie down for 4 year deals that can be there for the depth and for the promotion moving forward this season or next season, then we'd be sorted. I don't understand the theory of people of really wasting money and waiting for the summer. I just don't understand it.
The only thing with Olise is he's represented by his family. He doesn't have an official, he's not represented by any big agent or any company. He's represented by his family. So I think it's more of a chance that someone in his family goes, stay here for another 2 years, sign a 1 year extension, 2 year extension, possibly, and then see out this season.
So if you were Olise, right now, and you knew the clubs that were interested, you had conversations with them, and then Reading come with a contract.
Conversations with them, possibly.
Well, we don't know. All we know that was 99% of the time, the player always knows that the club always
know they're interested. Doesn't mean they've spoken to him.
No, it doesn't. I'm just saying, if all of these clubs come and spoke to you beforehand, and Reading offered you a contract, take your Reading brain out of it. Would you leave in January?
I wouldn't. Because you're part of a project. You know you're an important player. Like fans like you, and let's be fair. All of the clubs that are interested, you can't be guaranteed that you're going to get playing time.
I think you can with about 3 of them.
I don't know, because for me, I don't think he'll start for Palace. Not because he's not good enough to start for them, but because of Hodgson. Look at Eze.
Yeah, he'll be gone at the end of the season anyway.
Okay, so go at the end of the season.
I think it's one. Yeah, I can see
who were the other two. I think Leeds he'd start for. Yeah. Who was the other one?
Leicester will be the other one.
Yeah, and I think he's also. You'd be a bit sceptical. You'd be
Leicester, you're competing against Maddison as well.
Yeah,
but Maddison sort of has changed his sort of type of position this year. He seems to be becoming a second striker. They play like a 4-4-2. What I've seen this season, and especially when I watched against Tottenham.
That's where does Olise fit in the 4-4-2?
He can play anywhere. He could play wing.
He can't play in the middle.
Yeah, play on the wing. They haven't got really quick wingers or anyone that can really do the damage that Olise does.
But Olise isn't overly quick. He's more just technical than he's quick. It's like when we play over in the wing. It's not because he's blistering fast like Yak. It's because he's technically good on the ball. That's what Olise should be.
Yeah.
Like 4-4-2, you almost need someone who's going to run down the line and whip in a ball or get in a danger area, which I don't think Olise does.
Yeah.
So let's move on from Olise. I think he's going to be a massive talking point that we're going to be having over the next few weeks, over the next month or so as well. Move on to Omar Richards. According to sources, when I say sources, Courtney Friday, who tweeted out saying that Reading have offered a bumper contract to Omar Richards. They have offered him a lot more money than he's on at the moment. But he is not signing anything, as Crystal Palace, Brighton and Everton are interested in signing him in January before he maybe goes on a free at the end of the season. Okay, here's another question that I've got for both of you. I've seen fans have done different reactions different ways I've seen over Twitter and stuff. I want to get both of your takes on him. One, this is a bit of a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it because the fans have said it. Does he deserve a bumper contract? Two, would you get rid of him in January to try and get a bit of money and maybe get a loan replacement to the end of the season just to fill that gap until? Or three, do you risk it to the end of the season and lose him for minimal on a free? I think, how old is Richards? Do we know? Sorry,
22.
So he's in the under 23 bracket where we would get some compensation for him.
We get some compensation,
Yeah.
but it's always based off the January of the season prior.
Yeah, so depending on if we get some compensation for him. What would you guys do? Okay, so let's go with the first one. Is he worth the new contract that people are saying?
I'd say yes, because I think he's still on his first professional deal, which he signed in like 2017. So he's still only on like $1,000 a week. So he's still being paid relative peanuts to what he's probably worth paying. So I think
I agree with that.
So he's worth
the flip side of that, people have said that he doesn't deserve it because he's only started performing this year, and people are saying he's doing another Tyler Blackett.
He didn't really get a constant run.
No, I'm just going by what people were saying.
Because if you think about it, a lot of time we spent last season was with Blackett at left back, trying to Obita or Blackett. And I feel we only kind of really played Blackett is because we wanted him to sign a new deal, or the board wanted him to sign a new deal. So like, if we give him playing time this season, he might sign a new deal thinking he's going to play.
Yeah. Ryan, what would you do?
Because obviously he's like Josh just said, he's still on his first professional deal, so he's not on much. So by that terms, I think a bumper deal would be fair enough. However, if he was already on sort of like $6, $7, $8 a week,
I think you can't say much more. No. I don't think you can justify much more than. How much would you think Gunt was on about? $15,000 a week or something around that?
He was on more than that.
Yeah.
But I don't think justify being more than $15,000 a week, really.
Because of what he's on, I think it would be worth it.
Yeah.
However, if he turned around and was like, "Oh no, I want 19, 20," I'd be like, "Right,
well, no,
see you later. See you later. Bye."
Okay, another question. It's the same type of question that I had for Olise, but I want to ask both of you. Is Richards like with Olise? I don't think he's the long-term plan for the club, but he's the short-term gain. Is that the same thing with Richards? Is he a short-term gain for a long-term plan, or is he the long-term plan for this club?
I think he could be a long-term plan.
He could be a long-term plan.
Yeah,
definitely, most definitely.
He could be, but do you think he will be?
I think the club want him to be. It's up to him. He signs the contract.
The club will paint out this vision of you could be our starting left back for a decade or whatever.
And I think like they'll say that, and I think they could stick to that as well.
Yeah, because realistically, in the next 10 years. Do we see ourselves being of a calibre where we no longer see Richards as good enough for us? Because he'd be a handy Premier League left back. Realistically, he'd be a good enough Premier League left back.
Yeah. Right. Let's move on to a player instead of leaving could be coming in. Lewis Morgan, who is currently in Inter Miami. He is the all-time top goal scorer for them, as they've only been around a year, and he's started for them and scored. He's outshone the likes of Gonzalo Higuain and Matuidi, who are there. Lewis Morgan, he's 24 years old. He's Scottish. He's a left winger. His career in stats so far is in his career, he's played 195 games. He's scored 38 goals. He's assisted 35 times. It's looking like our club are looking at the MLS and Portugal for signings by the speculation of players we're going for. Do you think he would be a good signing if he come in?
I can't really say that because
I don't know enough about it.
watched them.
I spoke to someone who's a Sunderland fan who he went on loan to in the 18-19 season, and they said he was average at best, and I think that's their first season in League One. He was there, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm on Transfermarkt, which is like the official one with all the transfer.
Yeah, that's what I go on.
Yeah, apparently Sheffield United are possibly interested as well. So
it could be interesting to see where he goes. He sounds to be like he's developed a lot since he's been in the MLS.
Quite young as well, so
yeah, he is. Let's go on a player that's currently at Reading who celebrated his 200th game for the Royals. I've got the list of players here that have made 200. And do you know what? Half of this list pisses me off. By how have some of these players made 200 appearances for Reading? It fucks me off. How Liam Moore.
No, everybody on that list is a club legend.
Okay, so I'm going to read the list out, and if you stick to that, then I'm shocked.
I know who's on the list.
So on the list, after players that have the 13th, so Liam Moore become the 13th player to reach 200. Graham Murty, Marcus Hanneman, James Harper, Nicky Shorey, Inga Marson, Federici, Shane Long, and then this where it gets a bit dicey. Alex
legends.
Pearce.
All legends.
Hal Robson-Kanu.
Legend.
What a guy.
Toby McInerney, legend. And then we've got two very disappointments in Gunter and McCleary.
Legends.
They are not legends. No,
They're all club legends.
I genuinely thought we were going to go back up after he scored that goal against Burnley. I thought, oh, here we go, playoff.
Yeah, I really thought he would kick on and actually do something, but apparently not.
Well, I remember seeing a story when we were in that playoff season on Stan with Valencia. He was like 29 and Valencia were interested in buying him.
Why did we not sell him to Valencia? Why would we not sell the fucking idiot?
Because the club rejected some like £5 million bid I saw somewhere. Looking back up,
was Gary Neville manager of Valencia at that time? I think he was.
I think it's just after.
Was it just after or just before? I can't remember. But to me,
that season he was quite good for us.
Yeah, he was. That was the last season he was good. But that congratulations, Moore. Hopefully you're here for a lot longer to catch up and get past some of these people that shouldn't be on this list. But you have done astonishingly well, especially this season as well. We can tell the difference without you than with you in it. So congratulations. Right, let's go on to Luton Boxing Day fixture. Let's give you some stats before we get into what we think the game's going to be. So Reading's record against Luton, Reading have won 25 times. They have drawn 8 times and lost 21. The previous fixtures that we've played against them, starting from the 3rd of December 2005, we beat them 3-0. In February 2006, we lost 3-2. Wasn't that the 106-point season?
Yeah, I
remember that was on Sky, wasn't it? If I
remember.
We went
1-0 up after like 17 seconds. Then
Kevin Doyle scored that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then he scored again in 91st minute to make it 3-2.
That's it. I remember. I watched that on Sky. I got angry because we lost. 26th of August 2008, we beat them 5-1. 2019, we beat them 3-0. In 2020, we beat them 5-0. I think that was the one where Yaks got 4. And the start of this season, the 15th of September, we lost 1-0 in the League Cup. Nathan Jones, the manager of Luton, his record against Reading is that he's played us 4 times. He's won 1, drawn 2, lost 1. And Luton's recent fixtures go like this. They recently played Bournemouth and drew 0-0. Then they played Middlesbrough and lost 1-0. Beat Preston 3-0. Drew with Coventry 0-0, lost to Swansea 2-0, but they beat Norwich 3-1. They seem to be very inconsistent with who teams they're beating. They can beat Norwich, but then they can't beat Coventry. So they're a bit inconsistent with how they do things and everything. How are you seeing this game going, lads?
That Norwich game, Norwich were missing 11 first-team players.
Yes.
No, there we go then. That's why they beat them 3-1.
And it was the first game back with fans in the stadium for them.
Oh, right. Okay. Then.
And now
when I read that, I went, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
So how are you seeing this game going? What changes do you see happening to this team? Swift could be back.
On the bench. Swift's going to be on the bench. And he'll probably come on with about 10 or 15 minutes left to go. And everyone's going to be like, and hopefully we've already won it at that point. So it'll be just nice to see Swift on the pitch.
Yeah. Ryan, how are you seeing this game going? Do you think, I forgot where we go with this. How are you seeing this game going? Are Reading going to control possession? Are we going to do the counter-attacking that we do? How are you expecting this game to go?
I will say now, I want to see one change from the Brentford game, from the lineup, and I'd rather see Aluko start ahead of Baldock, and then Baldock come on off the bench. Zhao shouldn't be anywhere near the squad.
He said that Zhao might be fit again, didn't he?
Yeah.
The last stage of his rehab, whatever it was.
Yeah, he shouldn't play.
What is that? Do you think that's going to be too much for him and risk it too much?
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Like, no disrespect to Luton, but we beat them twice last season comfortably, didn't concede a goal. They only beat
1-0 with a 23s out.
Yeah.
In a game where Tenai Watson played central defensive midfield.
Yeah. No disrespect to Luton, but it is the kind of game that we should be winning without a problem. And
it's more of a Lambo game time for one.
Like you keep banging on about, the long-term plan for the club, Zhao shouldn't be injured.
No, I agree with you.
It's a needless risk. And the reason I'd start Aluko ahead of Baldock is because Aluko's not, like, be fair, he's not played bad when he's come off the bench. Also, I think Baldock is that kind of player where let's say it's 0-0 after 50, like with 15 minutes left to go. Give him the chance to run at some tired defenders.
Okay, so I had this conversation with Courtney on Monday, and I'm going to have both of the conversation with both of you as well. Do you think the club should play Melvin Lambert, or do you think that he's only on the bench because we've got no other strikers and they don't want to play him? If Baldock's not playing, as good as Aluko is, I don't think he should be playing as a striker. I think he should be playing as instead of Semedo, to be honest. In that little whole pocket.
Quite scarily though. He's Aluko's joint 4th top goal scorer this season as well, to be fair.
Yeah. But would you play Melvin Lambert in this type of game where it's against Luton?
I wouldn't start him. I'll definitely I think we could bring him on for 20 minutes, but I don't think we should start him.
Okay. So going into this game, the predictions that we did at the start of the month and what Josh did last week. Here's the predictions we all went for. I went for a 2-0 win. Adam went for a 3-0 win. Ryan went for a 3-0 win. And Josh went for a 2-0 win.
Oh, no, I remember saying this. Mark said I was being negative last week, saying I went 2-0, and he's gone 2-0 as well. He said last week, oh, that's pretty negative. He's gone for the same score.
Oh, yeah. I always try and fool you. So last week, we'll talk about the predictions last week. No one got any points because no one got it right. Out of our predictions of how many points we think we could be getting out of this time, I predicted we got 12. Reading have currently got 3. Adam predicted us in total to get 10. We've got 3. Well, we've obviously got 3. Ryan predicted us to get 16 points. We're still on 3. And Josh predicted us to get 10 as well. And Reading have only picked up 3 points so far. Going into this game, it could be a good win for us. As it's Luton and we haven't got any, and it's at home. Would you start Holmes or Estevez? Actually, will both of them start playing because we've got no left back?
Yeah, one will have to play left back because Gibson's out injured as well.
So what would you do with the back 4 situation?
I'll play a back 3. And play McIntyre as a left-sided centre back because he's left-footed, and then use Holmes and Estevez as more wing backs, really. If we're also doing this whole thing of we're lacking a striker, and we've got to start one of Sonny Aluko or Semedo, you don't have to, and just use the Cam as the false 9 or Olise up front, and you can drop one of them, play one as a false 9, play Ajari and Olise, and then have a back 5 almost. Because I just think that suits us not having to use Semedo and Aluko. One of them playing up front, obviously.
Ryan, what do you think?
I just said unchanged other than Aluko.
Aluko, yeah.
So Aluko in for Baldock coming in. It could be interesting to see what he does. It'd be interesting to see if Jowl makes the bench. Would you put him on the bench? You wouldn't put him in the whole squad?
No, I give him Christmas off.
I would put him in the bench purely because I think like it could end up being a repeat of who was it? I think Bournemouth, where we only had eight subs named.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Where's he in Portugal at the moment?
He was out there.
Because obviously when he comes back in Leicester, they've given him like the whole thing where sports players can come straight back in.
I presume that's what they've done.
Yeah, I assume so. Because with how when you go abroad, you can come straight back and after quarantine 14 days or 10 days.
But I think now, because of all the clubs that are in Tier 4, they all get COVID tests twice a week.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm assuming if he has the however many negative tests he needs to have, he can just come straight back in.
I think it's 2, isn't it? Isn't it 2 consecutive negative tweets? Negative tweets? Negative tests?
I know. I think each country is different. I think in England it's 2.
What's that, Ryan?
I said you've been playing every week with negative tweets.
Yeah, I would. That's very true. Or pissing someone off. I do that every week somehow. I don't even have to talk and I piss someone off. But no, that's it. Thank you both for coming on. I hope you both have a lovely Christmas. We do a Christmas Day special. Reading FC quiz is coming out Christmas Day at 3 p.m. One person gets absolute shafted. One person starts crying. Another one wins it out of the blue. And the others are just all here to have a bit of fun. There was a VAR incident as well. I had to go to the video replay to see what happens. But thank you both ever so much for coming on.
And we also learned that Mark never wants to see an under-23 player.
They cried.
The
little Mbappe one.
Right, and also what I want to say is, Ryan, this is a special thank you to you. You don't know this is happening, but this is the 50th episode of the podcast. And I say this plenty of times online, and I never get to say this in person. But if it wasn't for you giving me the courage to come and do the podcast, we wouldn't be up to 50 episodes now, and we wouldn't be able to be doing the 5 days a week that we do of podcasts as well. So this is a special thank you to you. Thank you ever so much for everything you've done for us over the past 7 months. You are a dickhead, an absolute twat, but you are my dickhead and twat. So thank you, and hopefully next year we will actually, for once. I was thinking about this as well. We've never actually met in person.
No, I don't think so.
No, we've never. So hopefully I get to see your lanky ass mug in person and buy you a pint to say thank you ever so much very, very soon. But thank you, Ryan. Josh, thank you ever so much as well for the past, I think, month or so you've been on the podcast now.
About a month.
Over a month or so now, doing the F1.
Yeah, mid-November.
Exactly. So thank you ever so much. But thank you all of you out there that have been watching and listening to us all year. We know that we've made some of yours top 5 podcast lists on Spotify. Which means a lot. Thank you ever so much. We are going to be doing bigger and better things next year. We're going to be trying to win. I don't know if we can expand the podcast as much as we can already, but we will find a way. I always find a way of doing something for everyone. And next year, hopefully, we will be able to get. Next year, we will definitely bring more fans on. And get your guys' takes on certain things and stuff like that. We are the podcast for the people. We do what you guys want us to do. Either you like it or you don't, we still do it. If you guys enjoy us, then fantastic. I hope you do. And we look forward to expanding the podcast and maybe one day being the #1 Reading podcast out there. Or the #1 podcast in Reading. That's what our aim is, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we hope you guys have a lovely Christmas and New Year, and we will see you guys very soon. Bye. Ryan, say bye.
Bye.
There you go.